You are welcome to this unique platform, Literature Hub 247, where literature is discussed 24/7. This class is about an African novel titled So the Past Does Not Die, written by Pede Hollist. Earlier on this platform, we discussed the plot summary, the prologue, as well as chapters 1 to 19 of this novel. So, if you need the link to the previous videos on this novel, just make your request to the comment section and it will be sent to you. This is chapter 20 of So the Past Does Not Die. You are welcome to the classroom. In the last chapter, chapter 19, Fina confessed to her husband, Kami, how she got married to Jema, that is the man that disrupted their marriage. Kami also told Fina about Glenn Gibson, that is his boy. So this is chapter 20. Let's see what happens there. Amma wakes up early this Sunday morning. She goes downstairs and sits at the kitchen table. After a discussion with her mother about her marriage to Bayo, she reluctantly agreed that Bayo will not come back. She then decides to sell the furniture she keeps for their home. She initially makes a price list below the cost price because she's determined to dispose of them. But as the items remind her of her experience with Bayo, she keeps on increasing the price. The prices are reviewed up to 3 times and are now above the cost price. She is also determined to sell off mementos from former boyfriends, so her inventory occupies 3 sheets. Amma realizes there is no noise from upstairs. It means her mother and Chantier, her sister, are still sleeping. She likes it that way because her mother will want to intervene in her dealings with Bayo, which she doesn't want. She adds the engagement ring to the list with 3 exclamation marks. Amma receives a surprise call from Kami, who has never called her. He tells her that Fina has been hospitalized. Remember in the last chapter, they discover a drop of blood on the love seat where Fina was sitting. As Amma walks down the stairs, she sees the reflection of someone opening the door of the front porch. The person happens to be Bayo, her fiancé. Amma looks for the key in the kitchen. She confronts Bayo with questions before she opens the door. She asks him what he's doing in their house, after going for over 3 months without any message. She opens the door and tells Bayo that Fina is not well and she's going to see her. Bayo says he was also sick and asks whether she didn't see his letter. Amma replies that she didn't see it and asks him his whereabouts. Bayo responds that whatever she's thinking is wrong. He says she doesn't know what he passed through that made him not to write or call for 3 months. Amma asks him if he's married and has come to marry the second wife. He replies that he has come to marry her as his number 1 wife. He says he can marry his second wife later. In response to further questions from Amma, Bayo says he's engaged to her and not married yet. Bayo lifted her as she fell into his arms. He later puts her down and attempts to kiss her, but Amma shifts her head and pushes him back. She then asks him why his brother-in-law said he was getting married. He clarifies that his headers had picked a girl for her to marry, but he told them that he had an American queen waiting for him. You remember the conversation she had with somebody, and the person told her that Bayo is engaged. Bayo gently kisses her and guides her to the leather sofa in the corner of the porch. He then proposes to Amma that they should get married the following day and that he doesn't want to wait anymore. Amma responds and asks Bayo why he's rushing. He replies that he wants them to go back to Nigeria after the marriage. Amma protests that she cannot leave her mother and go somewhere. Bayo explains to her that Nigeria is home to 150 million people and it's not just somewhere. Amma protests further that Bayo traveled for months without any message. He comes back, changes their decisions, and wants her to follow her to Nigeria. Bayo explains that he values her and that he's only making a proposal and not a decision. He says it is the village that sponsored his education in the US that told him to stay home for help. Amma then entertains fears about how Bayo's parents will feel towards her when they see her, since he rejected the girl picked for him. Bayo then allays her fears that she will be welcomed as part of the family. Despite the assurance from Bayo, Amma still insists that she can't leave her mother in the hands of her sister, Shantia, who doesn't care. As the argument goes on, Shantia comes out to plead Bayo. She wants him not to mess up with her sister. Amma interrupts her and tells Bayo that there's a need to go and see Fina. He puts Bayo along into the car where the discussion continues. Amma and Bayo join Kami and Fina in the hospital. It is the afternoon of the second day of the aborted wedding. Fina has a threatened miscarriage and the baby is delivered, and Fina is on the hospital bed sleeping. From the conversation between Amma and Kami, the baby and Fina are fine. Amma asks Kami the cause of the threatened miscarriage. The latter replies that stress is the common cause. Fina wakes up and she's happy seeing Kami and Amma with her and says hello to them. But when she discovers she's in the hospital, she closes her eyes again. Kami and Amma go back to their seats, thinking that Fina has slept. The light snoring from Bayo makes Fina open her eyes and sees Bayo. She's happy seeing Bayo because of Amma, and that Bayo will understand her better than Kami and Amma. Amma asks Bayo to wake him, and Fina asks him when he arrived. He replies that he arrived in the morning. Fina comments that somebody is happy to see him and asks for his plans. Bayo says he wants them to get married. Amma interrupts and says Bayo should tell Fina that he wants her to pack and leave for Nigeria immediately. Kami, who wants to change the topic away from marriage, asks why Bayo wants to go back. Bayo sits upright to explain to them. Kami interrupts that they should talk about something else because of Fina, who is too weak to partake in the going back home discourse. Fina responds that she's fine and wants to hear about Nigeria, that it will take away her mind from her present condition. When they remember why they are in the hospital, the visitors kiss, hug, and give her words of encouragement. That is Fina. They are trying to give Fina words of encouragement. Fina asks Bayo again to explain why he's in a hurry to return after the marriage. This doesn't go down well with Kami, and he frowns. Kami is frowning. Kami doesn't like that discourse because of Fina's insistence that she is also going back to Syria alone. So he doesn't want them to discuss it, something like that. Bayo explained that his sponsors, the villagers, want to see some returns on their investment. So they want him to go back and help them. He explained further that the people paid his plane ticket, tuition, room, and board for the first year. He claims that he worked to pay his fees after getting to America. The sponsorship money is $5,000, and Amma tells him to pay them the money. Bayo replies that he's wrong because his father and uncle have already promised them that he will go back to help. Amma then asks Bayo about his obligation to her. Her question changes the mood in the room. They remain silent until Bayo explains further that not everybody in his village thought it right to send him abroad. They believe that America turns people's heads and makes them slaves to their desires. He says his father replied to the villagers that, let's quote what the father said, "A boy that does not leave his nest to find food for fear it might lose its way back home will surely starve to death," quote unquote. Fina is alerted by this allusion, and Kami notices it. Bayo continues that he didn't understand the allusion then, but it's now clear to him. He surmises that he has to give something back to the sponsors. He has to return to the nest. The last statement infuriates Amma, who tells Bayo that he wouldn't have built another nest in America when he knows he has one at home. She blatantly tells him that their relationship is built on lies. So Amma is referring to herself as the nest in America. Bayo rushes to where she sits and kneels down. Amma tells him to leave her alone. Bayo is annoyed and stares at Kami and Fina. Fina tries to get out of the bed and Kami moves closer to help her. The former tells him not to touch her. She also rebuffs the attempts of Kami and Bayo to assist her and turns her attention to Amma, who moves closer to her and settles her back into the bed. Bayo declares that he's leaving and says he can't turn his back on his country. Fina interrupts that Amma has the right to be annoyed, that he can't just decide to move to another country like that. Bayo explained that his initial plan was to go home and see his people and come back, but he nearly died. He said things are bad at home and wants to offer his own contribution to change things. Fina urges Bayo to explain the situation at home so that Amma will understand. He says that every infrastructure is dilapidated and almost everything is run down, and it will take the efforts of somebody like him to bring things back to normal. Amma interrupts and says that Bayo should have called or told a relative or friend to call. Bayo responds that he was unconscious and lost a lot of weight. He says less than 5 days after he regained consciousness, he is with her. That his parents were even pleading that he should wait until he acquired more weight. Bayo laments that he left his parents living with Lassa to come back to her, and all he sees is attitude from her. He says he might have been exposed to it himself. Kami requests for more explanation on the Lassa fever. Bayo explains that he noticed when he got to the village that the place was infested with big rats. He said the local authorities say the people have fallen sick from eating foods contaminated by the urine of the rats. Amma asks whether it can be spread from person to person. Bayo answers that if people come into contact with the bodily fluids of an infected person, it can spread. What the author is trying to do here is just to educate us on Lassa fever, the cause, and how it can be avoided. He adds that the virus can be passed out in semen up to 3 months after exposure. Kami also adds that it cannot be spread through casual contact and advises Bayo to go for a test to ascertain its safety. He then asks him how soon he got sick when he got to their village. He replies that on the morning of the 4th day, he woke up feeling pain in his back and chest. He says he thought it was the bed he slept on or malaria. He then took medication and went into a coma from there. It was his parents who told him that his face was swollen in the evening, followed by diarrhea and vomiting. Kami asked him questions concerning changes in his body system. Bayo says he observed that he's having difficulty hearing. Kami urges Bayo to come with him for some blood tests. Some hours later, Bayo and Kami returned to meet the trio of Edna, Amma, and Fina in the room. Kami briefed them that the preliminary results indicate that Bayo probably has a severe case of malaria and not Lassa fever. He says they will be certain after getting the results of most of his tests. Amma asked about his deafness, and Kami said he seemed to be fluid build-up in his ears. He adds that Bayo is on a course of antibiotics, and the ear problem should clear up soonest. There's a silence, and Kami breaks it by informing Fina that he has been cleared for the transplant. Amma is inquisitive about this, and Fina narrates Gibson's story. I think we can still remember Gibson's story that needs a kidney transplant. The women, especially Edna, admire Kami, coupled with their acceptance to tell the police what he saw in the case of Kizzy. This inspired Edna, and she organizes a Saturday night dinner and get together for them. So that is So the Power Does Not Die, chapter 20. Please, if you are new on this platform, try and click on the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you'll be part of this class. And whenever any video is produced, you are going to be notified when the video is produced. Like this video, you are free to share it on any social media platform. Invite your friends and colleagues to join us. If you have any question or comments, just send it to the comment section and it will be attended to immediately. Thank you and God bless. Let's meet in the next chapter.